Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in. UFC Fight Night 63. I am very, very excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. There are some very interesting matchups, very interesting odds, and lots of pick'ems, and some live dogs. So let's go ahead and break it all down. Now, before we do so, um, before we go ahead and take the test here, since all the homework is done, I want to say that you always want to be real careful with wagering, betting, investing. You always want to be real careful because it's your hard-earned money. So be careful. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. Second thing is you always want to check your local laws and government. And then the third thing is that we have much respect for all the men and the women that step into the octagon. But it's time to analyze and break down these fights and give my opinion on what's going to happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the first fight of the night. We got Justin Lazy Bones Jones against Ronald Stallings. And for this one, I believe that we have a matchup where one fighter is on the come up, on the rise. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a challenger for the belt or anything like that. And that guy is Justin Jones, on the come up. He's strong, he's fast, he's powerful, and he's got finishing power. Ronald Stallings, more of a journeyman, a guy who's been around for a while. Never really got everything together, and not a good matchup for him here. Justin Jones trains down here in San Diego, and he's had a good amount of talk about the potential he has and that type of thing, and I look forward to him displaying that potential and realizing some of that potential in this particular fight. As far as how I see it going, I think Justin Jones has serious knockout power, and I think he can knock out Ronald Stallings in the first round. I like the price on Justin Jones, and sitting at minus 130. I got him at minus 135, but you can get him at minus 130. And it's not a big confident pick since I'm only going to risk a unit on it. And the reason I'm only going to risk a unit is because he hasn't proven anything yet in the UFC. He's proven a little, but he hasn't proven enough. And this is more of a I've got about eight bets on this fight, or on this fight card. So they're all fairly small, about right around a unit. So that's why. But now what concerns me in this fight, and another reason why I'm not going so high, is because if it gets to the ground, Ronald Stallings is going to have a technical advantage over Justin Jones, and sometimes that's all it takes. And that's what concerns me. I'm expecting, and I would like Justin Jones to keep it on the feet to land that knockout power on Stallings. That's what I'm expecting, and ultimately that's what I'm going to put my money on. So 3 stars, Justin Jones by knockout in round 1. Shamil Abdurrahimov against Timothy Johnson. This one, when heavyweights are, not the top guys like Verdum, Kane, when they're not the top guys, it's concerning when I see odds like Shamil at minus 250, minus 270, minus 285, and Timothy Johnson at plus 220, plus, inside the distance at over plus 300, because anything can happen. Literally, it's a kind of cliche and it's kind of annoying to hear that, but it really is. Anything can happen. And so For this one, I'm going to go ahead and go up with the upset. There is a prop that I like, and that's Timothy Johnson inside the distance, only a tenth of a unit. So it's not a big confident pick or anything. But I do expect Timothy Johnson to pull the upset off here. It could go to decision. Both of these guys like being in the clinch, like fighting close. So they could possibly get tired and drag it out. But I think ultimately Johnson will land a knockout shot, maybe even a submission. So I think Johnson, there is a chance he finishes. So I like the plus 330 odds on that. And so yeah, it's not confident or anything like that. But I think Shamil is overrated, and I think we'll find out. If not, no big deal with a tenth of a unit when there's plenty of other stuff going on this card. I'm not really going to stress out about. But I am going to go with the upset. If I had to bet it, it would be Johnson. And I think he'll do it in round 2. Gray Maynard. Third fight from the bottom. Jeez. Against Alexander Yakovlev. Man, what can you say about Gray? I mean, it feels like it was just yesterday that I was at the MGM Grand at UFC 125, and Gray Maynard was fighting Frankie Edgar, and Gray Maynard had that like 10-7 round 1 where he just beat the crap out of Edgar all over the octagon, and little Gray Maynard just did not want to give up. And Gray, in my opinion, has had a excellent career, and it's time for him to retire. I really believe it. I firmly believe it. I think it's time for him to hang him up. Just his losses, his chin is gone. I just don't. I don't see it for Gray anymore. I really don't. And one of the things that made him Gray Maynard is his toughness and his chin, durability. And since that's out the window, it's very difficult for a guy to win when he's lost that. So for this one, I'm going to have to go with Alexander Yakovlev. And I think Alexander is a bit underrated. And I think that dropping down to 155, he will be very much bigger than Gray. Not necessarily stronger, so I don't think it'll be that much of a difference. But he'll definitely be the taller fighter in there, and perhaps with that length, connect on Gray Maynard's chin and knock Gray out. So as a fan, it pains me to say it, but as somebody who likes to break these fights down and win, I'm going to have to go with Alexander Yakovlev by knockout. And if I had to bet it, it would be on Alex, and I will be betting Alex. And actually, that was the first bet I gave out for this card. That was my first one. I gave it out March 28th, so approximately 1 week ago. What did I do on this one? 2.4 units to win 2. So that's going to be Alex by knockout, and that's that. This next fight, breaking it down, I've really been analyzing, looking at all the angles, all the possible ways that this could go down, that this could shake down, that this could end up. And Liz Carmouche, she has a very powerful takedown, good ground and pound, suffocating from the top. And on the flip side, Lauren Murphy, super active from the bottom. I mean, it's difficult to find another girl who's more active from the bottom. Just a fighter, scrapper, always looking for an opening. But in this case, I believe Liz's talents, overall MMA game, strength, and being in there against tougher competition, beating tougher competition, And in that Sarah McMahon, Lauren Murphy fight, I believe Sarah McMahon almost shot herself in the foot by not being active, by not having some sort of offense from the top other than control. And in this case, I don't think Liz will do that. I don't believe Liz will do that. I think Liz will rain down punches, apply pressure, possibly get a submission, maybe get a TKO knockout. I expect Liz to win 2 rounds out of 3. At worst, a 29-28 split decision for Liz. I expect a unanimous 29-28 fight for Liz. And I wouldn't be surprised if Liz finished the fight. Now, I'm not overly confident about it or anything like that. If I had to bet it, it would be on Liz. I am going to be betting Liz. And let's see, Liz is going to be, she's minus 105, 1.1 units to win 1.05. So Liz will be the pick. Liz will be the bet. There's a lot of chatter and a lot of hype from the MMA community, the MMA betting community on Lauren Murphy. Yeah, I see what they're getting at, but man, you can't deny how bad Sarah looked in that fight. And Liz won't look that bad. Liz won't perform that bad. So I'm riding with Liz on this one. Dustin Poirier versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Another very interesting fight. One of the fights that really has me diving deep into my brain, trying to find a path to victory, a method most likely to happen. And with Dustin Poirier, I see a guy who is more smooth, more slick in the stand-up. Should have enough takedown defense to keep it on the feet. But the striking defense, that's what concerns me. That's what worries me. With Ferreira, we have a guy who, once he gets you on the ground, man, he is so slick. But like I said, I think Dustin will have the takedown defense to keep it upright. And Ferreira throws the Chuck Liddell type of bombs. Obviously not to the same accomplished level, but he does send those bombs. And if one of those bombs lands on Dustin Poirier's chin, he could be out. Akira Khorasani nearly put him out. A lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of chit chatter about that one, and of course, that's concerning. So ultimately, I'm going to pass on it. It's going to be a pass. If I had to bet it, it would be Dustin Poirier, and the price right now, I believe it's minus 150. Last time I checked, minus 145, minus 145. Jeez. I was talking to my dog, and I was telling him that watching this price, I'm almost tempted to do something with it, but it's not sweet enough yet. I would have to get down to minus 125, minus 120. But ultimately, no need for me to force it. No need to force it. So if I had to bet it, said it'd be Poirier. My prediction will be Poirier by decision. But this one, I'm going to sit back, watch it, enjoy the fight. Hopefully Poirier will have something at 155. Oh, then that's the other thing. Poirier is moving up to 55. I meant to say that. And just like I said with not to toot my own horn or anything, but like I said, do not bet on Sergio Pettis dropping down to 125. And sure enough, he got knocked out. So when guys change weight divisions, whether they're going down or up, it's always, not always, it's 90% of the time. So almost always is risky. So do not bet. Do not bet passing that fight. Clay Guida versus Robbie Peralta. Clay Guida, we know what he's about. Movement, win it in the eyes of the judges, wrestling. And Robbie Peralta, we know what he's about, except he spent 8 weeks at TriStar, and that is enough for me to back him here. I'll put a unit on Robbie Peralta at plus 200, even a little over 200. I think I snagged him for MMA DAWGS at plus 215. That's right, plus 215. I think he's there again. Let me see here. Plus 210. So, what was I going to say? Oh, with Robbie Peralta spending 8 weeks at TriStar. And those guys up there are good, man. That's a good team. So 8 weeks of nothing but fighting, preparing for the fight. And he's got to stay active. He's got to look for that chin. But I think he can do it. I really think he can. And if he doesn't, it's going to be, we're going to be out one unit. But hey, plus 200, plus 215. So, yeah, I see Robbie Peralta getting in there, getting after it, and possibly landing the knockout. That's what I'll be hoping for. I'm hoping for the Robbie Peralta knockout. Clay Guida, I think his time has passed. Like I said, we already know what we're going to get with him, movement. If he wins, it'll be a decision. If Peralta wins, it'll probably be a knockout, but I'm not going to sleep on Peralta for a decision here. But Peralta for the pick, if I had to bet it, and I will be, it'll be Peralta. All right. Okay, here we go. We're getting closer to the top. Julianna Pena making her long-awaited return. And that girl, she is tough. Against Milana Dudieva. She's good, but not as good as Julianna. Watching Dudieva's fight with Phillips, she's tough. She's a strong girl. She's tough, but she needs to sharpen up her tools. And then Julianna Pena, man, she's got that look in her eye, the eye of the tiger. She goes out there, dominates, whether it's taking the girl down, grounding, pounding her, moving into the submission. I mean, she's real slick. She's got the tools. But what concerns me about her is the layoff. The layoff is what's concerning. Having her knee blow up the way it did, and being out as long as she's been. I expect her to look the same, if not better. I expect Milana to look better, but Milana's better is not as good as Julianna's overall game. I think Julianna can beat her everywhere. I think she will beat her everywhere, so Julianna will be the pick. Julianna will be the bet. And I expect her to continue where she left off. Mike Chiesa versus Mitch Clarke. Now, this is an interesting one. The line on Chiesa is a little overboard, but I believe he will win. I believe he'll win this fight, possibly by finish. I think he'll win a decision. Mike Chiesa by decision. That'll be my pick. I will be betting him in one parlay. And with Mitch Clarke, let me just talk about him a tiny bit. He was the reason I laid off of Iaquinta when they fought, and I believe I believe that in this fight, Mitch Clarke really doesn't have an outstanding advantage like what Iaquinta had back when they fought. Quinta had the stand-up advantage, but Mitch Clarke, I knew if it got to the ground, Mitch Clarke was gonna do what he did, and sure enough, he did that. He sunk into submission. With Chiesa, it's not gonna be that easy. Chiesa is coming off of a loss, coming in here absolutely possessed. He's gonna be fighting after Julianna Pena beats Dudieva. Mitch Clarke is in between a rock and a hard place here. Chiesa on the feet will dot him up. We'll beat him up, and then on the ground, it'll be even. Mitch Clarke might have a slight edge, but nothing like he did against Al. So Chiesa for the win, perhaps inside the distance, but definitely Chiesa if I had to bet it, and I will be. Al Iaquinta versus Jorge Masvidal, just the guy I was talking about. Now this is a guy that has been improving. Training with Sarah Longo up there and Weidman. Man, this guy is very impressive. Good knockout power. Now he's clear. After that Mitch Clarke loss, he's clear. Hey, there's no reason for me to go to the ground. He's going to keep this on the feet. He's going to go for the knockout, and he's going to win the fight. With Masvidal, we have a guy who's been knocking on the door of getting knocked out. I mean, Chiesa rocked him, Cruikshank. I mean, everybody rocks him and drops him, and he's got a good chin. But man, this guy's been fighting around forever. just watching him even fight in the Miami backyard fights, brawl things when Kimbo Slice was promoting it. I mean, he's been around forever, taking punishment, giving punishment, and I think this will be the night where that knockout lands. This will be the night where Masvidal finally gets knocked out by Raging Al, and I've been nothing but impressed by Al. I've bet on him, bet against him, not bet on him. I have a good understanding of Al. I locked him up at plus 110. I nearly got him at plus 115, but small difference. So plus 110, I like it. Even right now, I think he's sitting at like plus 100 only, but yeah, plus 100, still good. I mean, minus 105, fine. Minus 110, okay. But I think Al can. I think where was I? Jeez, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting distracted here by all the numbers. I believe that Al can hurt him in the first round. Masvidal is a very slow starter. Oh yeah, one other thing I didn't like is as soon as Masvidal missed weight by half a pound, everybody starts pounding the line and over half of a pound. It's not like we're talking big weight here, anything significant. But anyways, Al I think can hurt him in the first round. Whether Jorge made weight on the first try or not doesn't matter. I think he can hurt him in the first round, and let's say he rocks and wins that round. As long as he keeps it on the feet for the second round and wins that one, that's it. In the third, I believe Masvidal will be too tired to do anything significant, even if he gets Al down. So that'll be the fight, I believe. So I like Al by knockout in round one, but he could possibly win by decision. It's not like it's out the window if it goes to decision. With Jorge, I do like when he uses his wrestling. He doesn't use it enough, though. He comes from that street style fighting, and he likes that. And I don't believe at this point of his career that he'll go in there and stick to a game plan of just nothing but wrestling and takedowns. So I don't believe that'll happen. I think Al will win, get his hand raised, and we'll cash out on it. And then last but not least, Chad Money Mendes versus Ricardo Lamas. Now, a lot of the MMA communities, a lot of chattering about Ricardo Lamas. Oh, what a live underdog and the odds and this and that. I see what everybody's saying. I see what you guys are saying, but Chad Mendes asked for this fight. He wants this fight. Chad Mendes has elevated his game to another level. And the Chad Mendes that showed up against Jose Aldo, man, that was a complete MMA fighter. And at the elite level, I mean, top fighter. Mendes won't be taken down. He's not going to get outstruck. He's going to be faster. And I think money on Ricardo Lamas is dead money. I don't think he'll win this fight. If Mendes wins, he can win inside the distance. He can win by decision. And as an MMA fan, I like Ricardo Lamas much better than I do Chad Mendes. Ricardo Lamas is very cool. I remember when we first started, he shared one of our videos. And I don't forget stuff like that. So I still follow him on Twitter. He's one of very few fighters I follow. And he loves dogs. He's got awesome dogs. So I really like. He's Mexican and Cuban. I mean, this guy, I really like him a lot. But like I told you guys, like I've always said, when you bet, you can't, or invest or you wager, you can't do it with your heart. So pains me to say it, but Mendes beats him in every way. Speed, power, and he asked for this fight. If Mendes, coming off a loss to the champ, hadn't asked for this fight, maybe things would be different. But Chad knows what he's going up against. He'll be prepared, and he'll get his hand raised. So even then, though, it's not going to be a super crazy pick. It's going to be 1.5 units risked on him. So it's not like I'm going crazy with it. So let's go ahead and jump over to the bets. So UFC, Fight Night 63, MMA DAWGS. Unfortunately, no 5 stars. I'm always looking for them, but there is none. 4 stars, unfortunately not. 3 stars. Wow, I have 3, 6, 8 3-star picks, all small. Chad Mendes, Alexander Yakovlev, Julianna Pena, Robbie Peralta, Iaquinta, Michael Chiesa, Liz Carmouche, and Justin Jones. So what I'm doing here is I'm going with volume. Small plays, but with volume. And knock on wood, Lord willing, I'll end up on top. So the first bet I gave out was on March 28th. Alexander Yakovlev at minus 120, 2.40 units to win 2. That was from off of bookmaker.eu. The next bet is going to be, I set it up by unit size, or kind of set it up by unit size. Anyways, the text file shows everything, including, I'm even taking it one step further now. I'm doing a timestamp of sorts, so I share the book that I used, the time, and the date. That way, just the natural evolution, like I've said in the past, even on the podcast. Like when I do stuff, whenever I do something, I improve, I evolve, and that's what we should all strive for in all aspects of life. So something else that I found would be cool, would be useful besides the video. So for the second bet, let's get back on the bets here. So first bet was Yakovlev 2.4 to win 2. The second bet is Iaquinta at plus 110, 2 units to win 2.20. That was off bookmaker this morning before the weigh-ins, and I anticipated that the line would get worse. I tried to snag it for us at plus 115, but unfortunately we got it at plus 110, which is still fine. Like I said, it's not a big deal, but I'm always trying to get the best line. That was off bookmaker also this morning, April 3rd, and then Chad Mendes at minus 430 plus Julianna Pena at minus 274 gives us minus 147. 1.5 units, 1.50 units to win 1.02 units. That was off bookmaker also. That was on the 2nd at 9:25 p.m. Robbie Peralta is the fourth bet at plus 215. That's a nice one. 1 unit to win 2.15. Now, this one I really want to cash. That's off sportsbook.ag at 9:25 p.m. on April 2nd. Iaquinta wins by knockout TKO plus 475. A tenth of a unit to win 0.475 units. That was on 5 dimes on the night of the 2nd at 9:25. Liz Carmouche at minus 105, 1.10 units to win 1.05 units. That was at 5 dimes today, just 2 hours ago. Michael Chiesa plus Justin Jones. Michael Chiesa minus 400, Justin Jones minus 135, plus 118. 1 unit to win 1.8. 1 unit to win 1.18. I was on bookmaker tonight at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh yeah, all these times are Pacific Standard Time. And the last but not least bet, the cherry on top, Tim Johnson wins inside the distance at plus 330. A tenth of a unit to win 0.33 units. That was on 5 dimes 2 hours ago, 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 8 total bets, 8 of them, for a grand total of 9.20 units. So about a unit per bet. Like I said, I'm not overly crazily confident in a lot of these fights. So I'm gonna risk something small. What was I gonna say? It's just one of those. I believe it's one of those cards where I'd rather go with numbers over size of bet. So 9.20 units to win 10.41 units. So that sums it up. Like I said, always bet, wager, invest responsibly. This is it. There's not going to be any more added bets, and I've been releasing them as I come up with them, as I see them. So, in hopes to get a better price on things. So, like for example, Yakovlev, I gave him out at minus 120. Now he's minus 135. Little things, little numbers like that, just depending on how much of a move it is. If it's a large wager, if your unit size is, let's say, $1,000 or more, then it's going to make more of a difference. If it's a bit of a smaller unit size, $50, whatever, $25, then it's not going to be that much of a difference. Um, but yeah, just anything to give us the edge here, anything to give us an advantage. And of course, got to predict where the line's going, so it's a bit of a more of an advanced tactic, but it definitely helps. And then I don't want to talk about it too much in the beginning to bore anybody to death or anything like that, but in 2015, just in 2015 alone, plus 32.45 units, 32, almost 32 and a half units of pure profit. So I am very, very glad, very, very happy, very, very inspired and motivated by that. So that's where I want to keep things going up, 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 up. The fee that we charge for the picks and the videos and the predictions isn't, I'm not doing this because I have to, because I have to do this. It's because I want to. It's just a natural evolution of predictions. Then I said, well, that's not just, thought to myself, it's not just about predicting. Let me go ahead and track it. And then back in the day, we were just doing more winners and losers. And I said, we got to take this further. What's next? Then I started really looking into units and how to track units. So this is what I love to do, and I'll continue to get better. And very, very happy with the progress. So just very excited to continue on this path that I am on. And I want to thank all of you for wanting to join me on this journey. I appreciate all of our clients, all of our supporters, everybody who believes in us. And that wraps it up. So UFC Fight Night 63. I hope you guys have a great weekend, but a happy Easter. And it is now time for me to go to bed. So I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.